Hey gang, welcome to another exciting installment. Um, First on the agenda is our announcement spot. Just watched the first episode of the new J.J. Abrams produced show Revolution. Um, it definitely has a lot of promise. I definitely have a few issues with like some of the characters and some of the general plot elements in the first place are kind of confusing, but at the same time, I have high hopes for this, and I know it'll probably just get better from here. Besides, not only does it take place in the future, but most of the fighting is done with things like swords and bows, and that's just really, really damn cool. Um, Basically, takes place in our world. A catastrophic event, mysterious catastrophic event occurs which causes everything electric to break down and to never work again. This event is called the Blackout. Our story in the show picks up 15 years after the Blackout, where we are still trying to make sense of what happened. And the world is split up into little splintered villages, um, ruled over by faction militias of one kind or another. It's about all I got so far. A lot of intense action and a lot of people already dead within the first 10 minutes of the show. So this definitely is going to be of epic scale, and I don't want to give away any spoilers in case anyone actually is interested in watching it. But I do say check it out. And if, like me, you seem a little unsure of what to think about it, I'd keep watching, because given the fact that J.J. Abrams is involved, something crazy, awesome or not, will happen, and you'll want to see it, just to say that you saw it. Which is pretty much what Super 8 was for me. Okay, as far as movies and such coming out, coming Friday is House at the End of the Street, starring Jennifer Lawrence of Hunger Games. Looks pretty freaky, and I'm probably going to go see it. The Master, starring Philip Seymour Hoffman. Not quite sure what it's about, but it looks pretty awesome. And Philip Seymour Hoffman is one of my favorite nerdy and or not nerdy actors. Which is funny because Jennifer Lawrence is in the Hunger Games, and the movie starring Philip Seymour Hoffman comes out on Friday as well, because Philip Seymour Hoffman is slated to be in the second Hunger Games film, Catching Fire. So I'm pretty excited about that. Also in movies, we have Looper coming out next Friday, the same night that Fringe premieres. And we have tomorrow the DVD release of Cabin in the Woods. Okay, so moving on. The other day, I kind of went a little crazy at the comic book store, but it's really hard not to with some of the really good titles that have been coming out in recent time. So I'm going to talk to you about my acquisitions. Suicide Squad number 8. If you remember, I talked about the compiled Volume 1 of Suicide Squad, Kicked in the Teeth, in episode 3, I think. It was very good. Compiled the first 7 issues of the New 52 Suicide Squad. They're now at issue 12, and this month is the 0 month, like for all the number 0 issues of the New 52 comics coming out this month. But considering it went only to issue 7, I felt it only made sense for me to keep reading where I left off, instead of getting the most recent issue. And none of the ones in between were available, so I got issue number 8. Where surprise ending of issue number 7, where Harley Quinn gets killed. She's not actually dead. And neither is anyone else in the Suicide Squad. And we're starting to wonder a lot about what the Suicide Squad actually is and what purpose it actually serves. And who the people that are calling the shots are actually working for. Issue 7 of the new Dynamite series, Dark Shadows, based on the old 60s soap opera and which the Tim Burton movie was based off of. It doesn't have the comedy of the Tim Burton film, and it doesn't have so much of the melodrama as the original series, or the revival series, which was one of Joseph Gordon-Levitt's first starring roles when he was a little boy. I don't know if you knew that or not, but yeah. But yeah, definitely a little more serious, a little more dark, a little more fast-paced. That's definitely good. This story arc in the issue involves a case of missing children in a town a little ways off from Collinsport. Same thing starts happening in Collinsport, and the police from the other towns to get involved. Barnabas decides to investigate the matter and finds out that, surprise, another vampire is involved. This concerns Barnabas since he thinks he's the only vampire in town. And because of this turn of events, somehow Barnabas becomes implicated, and the issue ends with them calling for blood of Barnabas Collins, who none of them really know to be a vampire, so I'm very confused on this issue. But maybe it'll get cleared up. I got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles issue number 13 of the new IDW series of Mutant Ninja Turtles, celebrating the first year in publication. The new TMNT series really details a brand new origin of our heroes, combining most of the previous versions of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles into some new form. So elements from the original comics, elements from the original cartoon series, elements from the films, from the newer cartoon series, from the newer comics, from the Archie comics, from the Mirage comics. Just amazing mismatch, because they actually decided to adopt the colored bandanas, which only appeared first in the original cartoon series, which I like because it's much easier to differentiate. We have in this issue Karai, granddaughter of Orokusaki, aka the Shredder, failing to please her grandfather, and being told that she does not have what it takes to lead the Foot, even though she can destroy almost all opponents. And we also have Casey Jones, who's getting beaten up by his father. Raphael decides to storm out when he hears this and goes to Casey's house to confront his father. Master Splinter, unimpressed, decides to chase after him. What happens next will be in next issue, of course. We also discover a little bit more about General Krang, who finally shows his true self, his true face, as the little squishy brain monster that we come to remember from many of the older Turtles iterations. And I was very glad to see him back in his typical form, even though I was surprised considering the way this comic has been going. But I'm really excited for the future of this one. Finally, I couldn't help myself being a big Adventure Time fan, but Marceline and the Scream Queens, which is a new 6-part miniseries by the people that make the Adventure Time comic books. Got the first 3 issues. Marceline and her band, the Scream Queens, go on tour. Princess Bubblegum decides to become the tour manager, and leaves Jake the dog to be king of the Candy Kingdom in her stead. Marceline's band consists of herself on bass and main vocals, another vampire, I'm drawing a blank on her name right now, is a guitar player, a ghost named Bongo is the drummer, fittingly enough. Apparently the ghost of a very famous drummer, but they don't say who. And then we have the keyboardist Guy, who is actually a werewolf. Princess Bubblegum being the only person that knows he is a werewolf. And let's say she's crushing on him, so what's she gonna think of Finn when she comes back to the Candy Kingdom? Only time will tell. Land of Ooh is quite a strange place, and it gets even stranger as explored in these comic stories. Yeah, that's about it for that. Peace out.